Mia Alvarez doesn't believe in love, just timelines, contracts, and flawless execution. So when a groom vanishes an hour before the biggest wedding of her career, she treats it like any other crisis. Fix it fast, fix it clean, fix it perfectly. Until she finds him, halfway out of town, arguing with a man who looks like trouble, wrapped in a tailored suit and a smirk. Julian Cross, the man hired to help the groom disappear. Now Mia and Julian are forced into an uneasy truce. 24 hours to find the truth. No sabotage, no lies, no walking away. But the longer they work together, the harder it is to tell what's real. Because the tension between them. Definitely not part of the plan. Chapter 1. The Missing Groom. Mia Alvarez didn't panic. She refused to panic. Panic was for amateurs, for people who didn't have color-coded spreadsheets and emergency backup vendors saved under speed dial. Panic was for bridesmaids who lost shoes and caterers who forgot the vegetarian option. Mia Alvarez was not one of those people. Which was why, when the best man grabbed her arm with a pale face and said, "We have a problem," she simply smiled. "How big?" she asked calmly. The best man hesitated. Mia's smile sharpened. Scale of 1 to minor disaster. "He's gone." Mia blinked once. Define gone. "The groom," he said, voice cracking slightly. "He's not in his room, his phone's off, his suit is gone." Silence stretched. Mia inhaled. Exhaled. And then she said, very evenly, "Okay." Inside her head, everything exploded. Missing groom, 1 hour to ceremony, 200 guests, bride currently blissfully unaware, venue paid, press invited. This wasn't a disaster. This was a career-ending catastrophe. "Did he leave a note?" she asked. "No." "Did anyone see him leave?" "No." "Did he look like he was going to run?" The best man winced. "Maybe." Mia closed her eyes for half a second. When she opened them, she was already moving. "Lock down the bridal suite," she said. "No one tells the bride anything yet. Tell catering to stall. Extend cocktail hour prep. I want 15 minutes of delay built in quietly." "And you?" he asked. Mia grabbed her phone, her blazer, and her composure. "I'm going to get him back." 20 minutes later, Mia was in a taxi, tracking the groom's last card transaction like a bloodhound. Roadside cafe, 20 minutes out. Of course. Of course he ran somewhere cliché. "Turn here," she told the driver sharply. When the cafe came into view, Mia's stomach tightened, not with panic but with something sharper. Determination. She stepped out before the taxi fully stopped. And then she saw him. The groom. Alive, fine, infuriatingly calm. And arguing. Not alone. Chapter 2. The Man in the Way. The first thing Mia noticed about the stranger was that he did not belong in chaos. While the groom looked like a man mid-breakdown, the other man looked relaxed. Leaning against a sleek black car, sleeves rolled up just enough to be intentional, expression unreadable except for the faintest hint of amusement. Like this entire situation, was mildly entertaining. Mia hated him instantly. "I'm telling you, this is a bad idea," the groom was saying. "And I'm telling you," the stranger replied smoothly, "this is the best idea you've had all week." Mia marched straight toward them. "With him," she demanded. Both men turned. The groom's face drained of color. "Mia." The stranger's gaze flicked over her once, slow and assessing. Annoyingly calm. Annoyingly sharp. Annoyingly aware. "And you are?" he asked. Mia crossed her arms. "The person fixing your mess." A beat. Then his mouth curved. "Funny," he said. "I was hired to create it." Mia stared. "Excuse me." The groom groaned. "This is exactly why I didn't want you two meeting." "Oh, I'm so glad we did," Mia snapped. Because I would love an explanation as to why my groom is standing outside a cafe with she gestured at him, whatever you are. The man straightened slightly. Julian Cross, he said. Like that explained everything. It didn't. Mia turned back to the groom. You have exactly 10 seconds to tell me why you are not currently getting dressed for your wedding. He ran a hand through his hair. I needed time. You had months. I know. Guests are arriving. I know. Your bride is. I know. Silence slammed down. Mia softened, just a fraction. Then come back, she said quietly. We'll figure it out. Julian chuckled under his breath. Mia's head snapped toward him. Do you mind? Not at all, he said. Please, continue convincing him to walk into a legally binding decision he clearly doesn't want. Mia's jaw tightened. And you're encouraging him to what? Run away. I'm encouraging him, Julian said, pushing off the car, to stop making a mistake. Mia stepped closer, invading his space without hesitation. You don't know anything about this wedding. Julian didn't move back. I know enough, he said. Oh, do you? I know a man who looks like he's about to ruin his life. Mia laughed, sharp, disbelieving. You met him 10 minutes ago. Long enough. You're unbelievable. I've been called worse. I'm sure you have. They stared at each other. The tension wasn't subtle. It snapped between them, sharp and immediate, like a match striking. The groom groaned again. Can you both not do this right now? Mia didn't break eye contact. Julian didn't either. Fine, she said finally. Fine, he echoed. And somehow, that was worse. Chapter 3, a very bad deal. I don't know what I want. The groom's voice cut through everything. Both Mia and Julian went still. For a moment, the air shifted. This wasn't about winning anymore. This was real. Mia exhaled slowly. Then we figure it out. Julian tilted his head. Together. Mia glanced at him. Suspicious. No. He smiled faintly. Afraid I'll win. I'm afraid you'll interfere. I already am. Exactly. The groom looked between them helplessly. Please. That one word did it. Mia closed her eyes briefly. Recalibrated. When she opened them, she was all business again. 24 hours, she said. Julian raised a brow. We take 24 hours, she continued. No wedding, no running, no pressure. And, Julian asked. And we figure out what you actually want, she said to the groom. Julian considered. Then nodded slowly. No manipulation. Mia scoffed. From you. From either of us. She hesitated. Then, fine. Julian extended his hand. Mia looked at it like it offended her personally. I don't shake hands on bad ideas. Then this should be easy, he said lightly. She glared. Then, reluctantly, shook it. The contact was brief, but not insignificant. Julian's grip was warm, steady, intentional. Mia pulled away first. 24 hours, she repeated. Julian's gaze lingered. Try to keep up, he said. Mia smirked despite herself. Try not to get in my way. And just like that, they were partners, whether either of them liked it or not. Chapter 4, Road Trip from Hell. Mia realized two things within the first 5 minutes of being in a car with Julian Cross. 1, he drove like rules were optional. 2, he enjoyed annoying her. You missed the turn, she said, arms crossed. I didn't. You did, it was back there. Julian didn't even glance at her. That was one option. It was the fastest option. I prefer flexibility. Mia let out a slow breath. We are not improvising a route like this is a personality trait. Julian smiled faintly. Everything is a personality trait if you commit to it. She stared at him. You're insufferable. And yet, here I am, driving you to your missing groom. I would rather walk. You wouldn't. I wouldn't, she admitted stiffly. Silence fell for approximately 3 seconds. Then, your system is too rigid, Julian said. My system works. It works until it doesn't. Mia turned toward him. My system has never failed. Julian finally glanced at her. Not mocking this time. Curious? Then this must be new for you. It hit harder than it should have. Mia looked away first. This isn't failure, she said. This is a temporary deviation. Julian huffed a quiet laugh. You just rebranded a runaway groom. I adapt. You control. I manage outcomes. You force them. Mia's jaw tightened. At least I care about outcomes. Julian didn't respond immediately. When he did, his voice was quieter. So do I. That shut her up. For a moment. They found the groom's next stop through sheer persistence and a trail of poorly thought-out decisions. A gas station. Of course. He's not even good at running away, Mia muttered. Julian parked smoothly. Most people are. She glanced at him. You would know. His mouth tilted. Occupational hazard. Before she could ask what that meant, he was already stepping out. Mia followed. Inside, the groom looked like he hadn't slept in days. Mia, he said, guilt flooding his face. Don't, she said immediately. Save it, we're not here to drag you back. Julian leaned against a shelf, arms folded. We're here to make sure you don't make a worse decision. The groom rubbed his face. I don't know what's worse anymore. Mia softened again, against her own will. Then we figure it out, she said. Together, Julian added. The groom hesitated. Then nodded. And just like that, the road trip got longer. Back in the car, Mia adjusted her seat. This is not efficient. Julian started the engine. You've mentioned. We should have a structured plan. We have a direction. That's not a plan. It's a start. Mia pressed her lips together. Then, why do you do this? She asked suddenly. Julian glanced at her briefly. Do what? This, she said, gesturing vaguely. Help people run. He considered the question longer this time. I don't help them run, he said. What then? I help them choose. Mia frowned. By removing consequences. No, Julian said quietly, by making them face them. She didn't fully understand. But for the first time, she wanted to. Chapter 5, Pretending Gets Dangerous. By late afternoon, they needed information. And information required access. Which required lying. I hate this already, Mia muttered. Julian looked far too amused. You'll survive. They stood outside a small boutique hotel where the groom had briefly stopped earlier. To get answers, Julian said, we need to look like we belong. We do belong, Mia said. Not as investigators. She narrowed her eyes. What are you suggesting? Julian's smile was slow. Deliberate. We're a couple. Mia stared. No. Yes. Absolutely not. Relax, he said. It's just a role. I don't do roles. You plan weddings. That's all roles. That's different. How? Because those are real people. Julian stepped closer. Lowered his voice. So are we. Mia's breath caught. Just for a second. She hated that. Fine, she said finally, but minimal interaction. Julian nodded. Of course. He was lying. Inside, everything shifted. Julian's hand found her waist like it had always belonged there. Light. Casual. Convincing. Mia froze for half a heartbeat. Relax, he murmured near her ear. I am relaxed. You're gripping my arm. I am not. She looked down. She was. Julian's mouth twitched. "Commit," he said softly. Mia inhaled, then exhaled, and leaned in slightly. Just enough. The receptionist smiled warmly, checking in. Julian answered smoothly. "Just asking a few questions. We were here earlier, passing through." Mia added a polite smile. Professional. Controlled. Her heart absolutely not racing for any reason whatsoever. "Of course," the receptionist said. It worked. Too well. Outside again, Mia stepped away immediately. That was unnecessary. Julian raised a brow. "It worked." "You didn't have to." She gestured vaguely at her waist. "Touch you?" "Yes." His gaze flicked down briefly. Then back up. "I did," he said simply. Mia blinked. What? To make it believable. It was believable without that. Julian stepped closer again. Not touching, but close enough to remind her. "Was it?" he asked quietly. Mia's throat went dry. "This is exactly why I don't improvise," she said. Julian smiled faintly. "And this is exactly why you should." Chapter 6, One Bed, No Dignity. By the time night fell, they were exhausted. And stuck. "There are no other rooms," the receptionist said apologetically. Mia stared. Julian didn't even look surprised. "Of course there aren't," she muttered. "One room," the receptionist repeated. "One bed." Mia closed her eyes briefly. This was fine. This was manageable. This was. "Take it," Julian said. Mia shot him a look. "You're very calm about this." "I've had worse situations." "I don't want to know." "You don't." The room was intimate. Too intimate. One bed. Soft lighting. Close quarters. Mia stood near the window, arms folded. "This is fine," she said. "Completely fine," Julian agreed. It was not fine. They got ready in silence. Brushed teeth in turns. Avoided eye contact like professionals. Until. "Stop moving," Mia snapped from the bed. "I'm not moving," Julian replied from beside her. "You just sighed." "I'm breathing." "Do it quieter." "That's not how breathing works." Mia turned toward him, ready to argue. Then stopped. He was closer than she expected. Too close. Close enough that she could see the faint crease near his eyes. Close enough to notice he wasn't smiling. Just watching her. "Problem?" he asked softly. Mia's voice came out quieter than intended. "No." Neither of them moved. The space between them felt charged. Different. Not sharp like before. Heavier. Slower. More dangerous. Mia swallowed. "This is a bad idea," she said. Julian didn't look away. "Most good things are." Her breath hitched. That was. She turned onto her back abruptly. "Go to sleep." Julian huffed a quiet laugh. "Yes, Mia." But neither of them slept right away. And both of them knew. Something had shifted. Chapter 7, Cracks in the Plan. Mia woke before Julian. She didn't mean to. It just happened. The room was quiet, soft morning light slipping through the curtains, everything calm in a way that felt unfamiliar after the chaos of the past day. For a moment, she didn't move. Then she turned her head slightly. Julian was still asleep. And that alone felt strange. He wasn't sharp or amused or watching her like. He already knew what she was going to say. He looked younger. Less guarded. Human. Mia frowned at that thought. Because somewhere between arguing in a car and sharing a bed they didn't talk about, Julian Cross had stopped being just a problem. And that was dangerous. She slipped out of bed quietly. Of course, he woke up anyway. "You always this quiet in the morning?" he asked, voice rough with sleep. Mia froze. You always pretend to be asleep, she shot back. Julian opened one eye, only when it's entertaining. She rolled hers. You're impossible. You're still here. Mia paused. That landed somewhere deeper than it should have. I said 24 hours, she replied. Julian sat up slowly, running a hand through his hair. And after that, Mia looked away. After that, she said, this is over. Julian didn't respond immediately. And for once, he didn't joke. Later that morning, they found the groom again. This time, he didn't run. I think I know, he said before they could even speak. Mia's chest tightened. Know what? What I want. Julian stayed quiet. Watching. Always watching. I don't want to marry her, the groom said. The words hung heavy. Mia felt them like a crack down the middle of everything she had built. Are you sure? She asked. Yes. No hesitation. No fear. Just certainty. And somehow, that made it worse. Chapter 8, The Truth About the Bride. The truth didn't come all at once. It unraveled. Piece by piece. The bride wasn't just controlling. She was strategic. Carefully curated. Every detail of the relationship had been positioned. Connections, benefits, appearances. Love had never been the foundation. It had been the presentation. Mia sat back, stunned. That's not, she started, then stopped. Because she didn't have a word for it. Julian did. It's a transaction, he said. Mia shook her head. That's not what a wedding is supposed to be. No, Julian agreed quietly. It's not. She looked at him. You knew, she said. I suspected. And you didn't tell me. You wouldn't have believed me. Mia opened her mouth. Then closed it. Because he was right. She wouldn't have. She had seen what she wanted to see. A perfect couple. A perfect story. A perfect ending. And none of it had been real. Chapter 9, Letting Go. The venue looked exactly the same. Perfect. Elegant. Ready. Mia stood in the middle of it and felt nothing. No pride. No satisfaction. Just a hollow kind of clarity. I built all of this, she said quietly. Julian stood beside her, hands in his pockets. And it's still beautiful, he said. That's the problem. She gestured around them. It looks right, it feels right, it should be right. But it isn't, Julian said. Mia let out a small, broken laugh. For the first time, she admitted, I can't fix it. Julian turned toward her. You're not supposed to. That's my job. Maybe, he said, voice steady. Your job isn't to make things perfect. Mia met his eyes. Then what is it? Julian didn't hesitate. To make them honest. The words hit harder than anything else had. Mia looked away quickly. Because honesty meant admitting something else too. Something she wasn't ready for. The wedding was called off. Quietly. Firmly. The truth came out. Not dramatically. Not explosively. Just undeniably. And for once, Mia didn't try to hold it together. She let it fall. Chapter 10, The Choice. It was over. The guests were gone. The decorations were still there, but they felt like remnants of something that never really existed. Mia stood alone at the edge of the venue. For the first time in a long time. She didn't have a plan. You're thinking too hard again. Julian's voice. Of course. She didn't turn immediately. I thought you'd leave, she said. I thought you, tell me to. Mia exhaled slowly. I should. Julian stepped closer. But you're not, he said. It wasn't a question. Mia turned then. Really looked at him. At the man who had disrupted everything. Who had challenged her. Frustrated her. seen through her, and somehow stayed. This wasn't part of the plan, she said. Julian smiled faintly. You're still thinking in plans. And you're still avoiding answers. Ask better questions. Mia hesitated. Then, what happens now? Julian held her gaze. That depends. On what? On whether you're going to walk away. Mia's chest tightened. Because that was what she did. Always. Control, exit, reset. Safe. Predictable. Lonely. She took a step closer. Then another. Until there was barely any space left between them. This is a bad idea, she said softly. Julian's voice dropped. I know. Mia's breath wavered. And we're not even pretending anymore. No, he said, we're not. A beat. Then. Good, she whispered. And she kissed him. Not careful. Not controlled. Not planned. It wasn't polite or practiced or perfect. It was real. Julian responded instantly, like he'd been waiting for it. His hand came to her waist again, but this time it wasn't for show. It was firm. Certain. Pulling her closer. Mia's fingers curled into his shirt without thinking. The world narrowed. No timelines. No expectations. No perfect endings. Just this. When they finally pulled back, her heart was racing. Julian's forehead rested briefly against hers. So, he murmured. Mia smiled, soft, unguarded, completely different from the woman she had been at the start. So, she echoed. No plan, he asked. Mia shook her head. For once, she said, I don't want one. Julian smiled. And this time, it wasn't sharp. It wasn't teasing. It was real. Good, he said. And when he reached for her again, she didn't hesitate. The end. This was brought to you by Romance Hobbit. If this story moved you, subscribe. A new story is already waiting for you.